Thousands of break-ins leading to calls for a teen crime crackdown.
There's no consequences.
Why police and victims say we need tougher punishments.
License plate readers lead to another arrest outside Nashville. Fox 17 News asking Metro leaders why they are still pumping the brakes on this technology.
A Tennessee man accused of opening fire on a family simply sledding in the snow. The new charges.
A critical threat. How conditions are getting worse for firefighters in LA. Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
We do see the same juveniles getting arrested over and over again.
We begin with Operation Crime and Justice and calls for harsher punishments for teenagers after dozens of car break-ins in East Nashville.
Well, Metro police officers say state lawmakers are the ones who can make that happen.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Scott Couch.
I'm Megan O'Halloran. The issue of teen crime in the spotlight in the last few weeks.
Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar live now in front of our state capitol with what stakeholders call a complicated issue.
Tennessee lawmakers I spoke with say that they're looking to have tougher penalties for teens this legislative session. A juvenile judge tells me she prefers rehabilitation. Shattered glass and stolen items. People living in East Nashville saw at least 83 car break-ins in a matter of days. And teens are getting the blame for a lot of those crimes.
Because honestly, at the end of the day, if it's juveniles doing this, I mean, they're not going to stay in juvenile.
Metro Police Commander Harold Burke says even if the teens are arrested, they aren't going to jail, addressing victims' frustration at a community meeting in East Nashville.
The time we arrest a juvenile, nothing is going to happen to them. The second time we arrest a juvenile, it's unlikely that something is going to happen to them.
Juvenile Judge Sheila Calloway says that's not true. She says juveniles are assessed on a case-by-case basis.
And sometimes their age depends on just the things that happen into their lives.
Judge Calloway believes in rehabilitation.
We have to have an opportunity and an area, the space for those youth to develop their brains in a positive way.
Metro police officers don't dispute the importance of rehabilitation, but say it's not enough. They're looking to lawmakers for change.
It doesn't do any good to have a revolving door that we put them in front of a judge and they're immediately out the next day. There's no consequences.
Senator Mark Pody is backing a bill to allow magistrates and courts to see a juvenile's criminal history to determine bail. Pody believes jail should be a last resort for first-time offenders, not repeat.
It's going to only escalate to more and more dangerous crimes.
Senator Pody tells me now is a good time to start having a conversation about how to hold juveniles and especially their parents accountable for the East Nashville car break-ins. Reporting live in front of the Capitol, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
And we want to know what you think. Should there be tougher penalties for repeat juvenile offenders? The results here on your screen. Over 200 people weighing in tonight. 98.2% of respondents say yes. 1.8% say no. This poll live right now. To cast your vote, you can scan the QR code there on your screen. It will take you over to our X page. Still time to weigh in and vote, and we'll show you updated results here tonight a little later in the broadcast.
Staying with Operation Crime and Justice, Mount Juliet police confirm another arrest thanks to their license plate reader program. Fox 17 News' Johnny Matthey in Metro Center with more on this story and a key distinction between Mount Juliet and Nashville's crime-fighting efforts.
You get off the highway, pull onto Rosa Parks, and there are no LPRs to be found, no public license plate reader program here in Nashville. But you drive over to Mount Juliet, it's a different story. Heading to Mount Juliet from Nashville, you get off I-40 onto South Mount Juliet Road with multiple license plate readers. And you see more when you get to Central Pike. LPRs just led Mount Juliet police to arrest a man wanted in Rutherford County. The department is not shy about the hashtag MJ Guardian Shield. Fox 17 continues to press city leaders on the LPR holdup in Nashville. Mayor Freddie O'Connell addressed the issue at a news conference earlier this month.
I'm very optimistic that we can revisit the Fusus contract early this year.
Fusus is not LPRs, though. Fusus is a private camera network Metro Nashville police can tap into with permission from the owners of the cameras. Metro Council rejected Fusus late last year by a single vote because of concerns it might be used to target illegal migrants. But the mayor's office says the proposed contract says Fusus cameras can't be used to target migrants.
We should be able to get to success on that, and I think that will be an important indicator for how we can revisit the license plate readers issue as well.
Like the mayor, Metro Councilman Bob Nash, a retired Metro Police commander, is hopeful.
I can assure you that both Fusus and the use of license plate readers would be a tremendous force multiplier and a valuable tool to the police department.
Nash says the success of LPRs in surrounding communities speaks volumes.
To me, that is kind of flies in the face of so many people that object about, oh, they're going to be misused, they're going to be mistreating people, when in fact, there is no evidence of that. I mean, these are already being tested. It's beyond testing.
Nash adds he does think there can be a different outcome when legislation is reintroduced. And again, the mayor's office says that could be reintroduced, quote, very soon. In Nashville, Johnny Maffey, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
And there was a twist to the arrest today in Mount Juliet. The suspects, turns out, was a pizza delivery driver on the job. Mount Juliet officer Schmidt, involved here, made sure that pizza didn't go undelivered. He gave the pizza to the happy customer. Gotta like that. You can watch the entire body camera video of this very unusual delivery on the Fox Nashville YouTube channel. And while you're there, we invite you to subscribe.
Now to an update tonight, Mayor Freddie O'Connell celebrating a legal victory in his transportation plan. The Choose How You Move initiative was approved by 66% of voters on the November ballot, but the highly debated plan came under legal controversy for the cost and what the spending would be included in the plan. The committee to stop an unfair tax sued, claiming the plan violates state law and posed misleading referendum language on the ballot. In the end, a chancellor ruled in favor of the mayor's plan, saying it complied with all state law. All right, after quite the week we had, even the weekend, we're drying out.
Yeah.
We're warming up.
Yeah, by the end of the week, how do the 50s sound?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to last, though.
That's
I know
a sharp
this.
turn, though.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
there's always the but.
That's right. It's going to be a rocky road to the 50s this weekend, and then yes, on the other side of the weekend, this time next week, we are looking at some pipe-bursting cold weather as we head into again Martin Luther King Day. So get ready, because it's going to be cold once again. Not feeling too warm right now. Still, folks out and about downtown on Broadway, we're sitting in the upper 20s, and overnight we should drop into the upper teens here in Nashville. Things are quiet, at least. Nice to see the radar. Nice and quiet, and that's the way actually it'll stay for several days. We're down to about 18 degrees in Nashville for tonight, 16 in Lebanon, Murfreesboro around 16. Crossville could hit 13 degrees with a mainly clear sky, but we'll keep the dry weather around for several days here. Great to go get a car wash, get all that salt and brine off the car. You'll have a couple days to do so. The rain doesn't return until this weekend. It is going to be mainly rain, so no question there, especially since we've got temperatures in the 50s. There will be the potential for some light winter weather on the back side of this system, so we will highlight that. We'll talk a little more about it. That coming up, and more on the pipe bursting cold, I'll call it, for next week. That in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Katie, thank you. Shots fired at a Tennessee family sledding near their home. The charges a neighbor is facing tonight.
And fact-checking fallout why some call Meta's move a political favor. Tonight, 24 people are dead, and that number is expected to go up as crews sift through the ashes of what used to be homes in the Los Angeles area. Wildfires continue to burn in the city for days now, and conditions could get worse. Strong winds are once again forecast in the area this week. Well, victims and first responders in Southern California asking for help as crews struggle to fight the wildfires in LA. Our parent company, Sinclair Inc., partnering with the Salvation Army for Sinclair Cares California Wildfires Relief. So far, thanks to you, we've raised over $36,000, which will help crews deliver essential meals, fresh water, and supplies to the hardest hit areas. To pitch in, donate, and help, you can scan the QR code right there on your screen or go to sinclaircares.com to donate. And we'll take a look at the cost of the losses these homeowners are facing here in about 20 minutes.
Continuing coverage on a Chattanooga area man who is charged with firing on a family, including a 1-year-old child just playing in the snow. Tonight, he is facing serious new charges, including 6 counts of attempted first-degree murder.
Hamilton County Sheriff's deputies using metal detectors looking for bullets fired into the ground near a family playing in the snow. The mother says she heard gunshots and then saw snow fly up feet from her 1-year-old son. People who live nearby are outraged.
What's going to happen? Because he doesn't need to be around anybody, especially children.
He is 56-year-old Benjamin Cook, who lives next door to the hill where the family was sledding. The incident report says Cook has a history of firing guns in the area and telling people that hill is his property. But deputies say the family was not on Cook's land.
We're all kind of concerned, you know, and I always said this is the kind you see on the news.
Cook is definitely making news. He told deputies he had not walked up to the fence near the hill and had not shot a gun all day. But a neighbor showed deputies pictures that day taken of Cook walking through the woods carrying a black rifle slung across his back.
Everybody thinks he'll be okay, but after what happened, no, that's too much. When you're shooting a gun around children, no, no.
Cook is facing 14 different charges tonight. New offenses include 2 counts of unlawful possession of a weapon, 4 counts of aggravated child abuse, and possession of drug paraphernalia. He's scheduled to face a judge February 10th.
All right, let's talk about the weather up where I live. Most all of the ice is gone, fortunately.
Yeah, a couple good days of melting. We were in the 40s yesterday. We were in the upper 30s for today. We're cooling down though as we head into.
Squeak out one more snow day, huh?
Yes.
Still winter.
Yeah, I mean, this has definitely been a January that has been a January, if you will. I know if you've been here years, you know that a lot of times in January we can get 70-degree days. Usually that then follows severe weather, or comes before severe weather, I should say, which we don't want. But this January in particular, can't remember the last time that it has been consistently cold and active with chances for winter weather. So we will stay dry for this week. I do see a cold snap for the middle of the week. Temperatures look to drop into the low 30s for Wednesday, with teens again for overnight lows like we'll see tonight. We could be in the mid-teens by early Wednesday morning. Big system coming in this weekend, mainly rain, but there will be some light winter weather attached to it. Possibly. Here's a look at tomorrow. First, 32, sunshine up to about 43, 42, 43 for the afternoon with, again, sunny skies. We are dry Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Showers arrive by Saturday morning. And then on the back side of it, if the cold air can catch up to what's left of the moisture, that's where we might find a little bit of winter weather. It would be completely different from what we had on Friday, where the cold air was in place and we didn't have to worry about if the cold air can catch up to the moisture. That's going to be this scenario here. What we typically see for these winter months, it's a front. It's warm, we get rain first, and then it snows. And that would be what we have this weekend if it holds. So for now, this is the latest run from Future Track. We get these updates throughout the day. And this one in particular does show a little bit more cold air coming in. So this is Saturday morning. Showers will be around scattered across the area here. Here's 3 o'clock. And then as we head into Saturday evening, this is early Sunday morning now, midnight. Little bit of moisture here left over that would transition rain showers over to light snow showers through Sunday morning. Then we get through Sunday midday. You can see through even early evening that it starts to clear out. So as of right now, does not appear to be a big winter impact for us, but still some minor impacts can't be ruled out. That again is if this can hold through the next couple of days where we still see a little bit of that snow on the backside. It could be, and a lot of times where we dry out before we see any of that winter weather return. So as of right now, I would say this would be a minor impact if we were to see something going into the weekend. As we take a look ahead, though, going into the following week, we are going to be looking at much colder air, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. High temperatures tomorrow will be in the low 40s. We're looking at mainly sunny skies, great weather, really, compared to the weather we've had the past couple of days. So a beautiful afternoon expected. Great to be out and about after being cooped up in the house for a few days. We'll talk more about the cold that is on the way a week from today. Coming up.
Is Meta getting a MAGA makeover? I'm Atra El-Nashar with how Mark Zuckerberg is changing his brand ahead of a second Trump administration.
And a White House move in a matter of hours, the transition of power that you have never seen before.
Hi, I'm Justin McFarland from Fox 17 News this morning. Tuesday kicks off a brand new legislative session for Tennessee lawmakers. We're going to talk about the hot topic issues on the docket and how they could impact your day-to-day life right here in the Mid-State. We'll see you starting at 4 a.m.
Trending tonight, most everybody uses social media these days, so any change is noticed pretty quickly. And that's why some people are scrutinizing Mark Zuckerberg's decision to drop fact-checking on both Facebook and Instagram. As Fox 17 News' Atra El-Nashar shows us, critics call it a political favor to the Trump administration. You can vote on this issue. Let us know what you think by scanning the QR code that will appear on your screen.
Leaders in tech haven't exactly been subtle in their attempts to get on President-elect Trump's good side. Perhaps for no one is that more true than Meta's Mark Zuckerberg.
And it's one of the things that I'm optimistic about with President Trump is I think he just wants America to win.
Zuckerberg getting rid of Meta's fact-checking feature, often lambasted by conservatives, replacing it with a community notes feature Zuckerberg says is modeled after X, a platform owned by Elon Musk, Trump's self-proclaimed first buddy. Zuckerberg's also named Trump's close friend and head of UFC, Dana White, to Meta's board of directors.
I think they've gained a lot of respect. We've had everybody. Jeff Bezos came, Bill Gates came, Mark Zuckerberg came. I haven't had anybody saying anything bad about me. I'm not used to it.
The dynamic between Zuckerberg and Trump has come a long way since Trump was banned from Facebook after January 6th, and he spent years disparaging Zuckerberg. Who knows? Trump and a Republican-controlled Congress could pass tech regulations to make his life very difficult. Here's what the co-chair of Meta's oversight board recently told NPR.
I do think that there's bad optics here. It certainly looks like this is buckling to political pressure.
There have been other changes at Meta they haven't been so vocal about, like gutting sections of the hateful conduct policy, including the part that banned users from referring to women as household objects or property or objects in general, black people as farm equipment, transgender or non-binary people as it. And the New York Times reports managers at Meta offices across the country were instructed to remove tampons from men's bathrooms that had been provided for non-binary and transgender employees. Despite some employees reportedly outraged by these changes, Zuckerberg appears full steam ahead, even getting more FaceTime with the incoming president last week. Many question whether Zuckerberg sincerely believes all of this is what's best for users and the company, or if in 4 years, or when the political landscape changes, he'll change his strategy. On Capitol Hill, I'm Atra El-Nashar reporting.
During that story, we had a QR code on screen linking people to this poll asking whether you agree with Mark Zuckerberg's political changes at Meta since the election. And 528 people voting, and 74, almost 75% say yes, we agree. Thanks so much for taking time to cast a vote.
Well, looking ahead, soon to be First Lady Melania Trump getting organized for the handover of the White House from the Bidens. She says a documentary crew has been following her for the last month as the family prepares to move back into the White House. On Inauguration Day, workers have 5 hours to redecorate. That includes removing all of the Bidens' possessions and completely moving in all of the Trumps. Melania says everything has to be planned down to the minute.
This time I have everything. I have the plans, I could move in, I already packed, I already selected the furniture that needs to go in. So it's very different transition this time, second time around.
Well, Melania says that there will be some minor changes from the time in the White House. The documentary is expected out in theaters this fall and streaming on Amazon Prime.
Setting the agenda for a new state legislative session, the priority for Tennessee's supermajority.
I'm Christine Frizzau on Capitol Hill, where it's appearing more likely that any new disaster aid for California will be conditional. A look at the fight heating up.
Not a crisis in the classroom as school vouchers will once again top the list of priorities when Tennessee's legislative session kicks off tomorrow. Fox 17 News' Madeline Nolan breaking down what we can expect.
Unlike the weather we're experiencing, we can expect a pretty heated debate between those who really want to push forward this school voucher bill program and then those who don't. Now, House and Senate Bill 1, also known as the school voucher program, has been pushed by Governor Bill Lee as well as other Republican legislators for the past few years. Now, this new bill, similar to last year's, would give 20,000 students a voucher to receive $7,000 to attend a private school of their choice. Now, 10,000 of those scholarships would need to go to students whose households make less than 300% of the amount needed to qualify for a free or reduced school lunch, which comes out to be around $154,000 annually. Now, a point made last year during last year's legislative session was that these vouchers would cause a decline in public school enrollment, and then the funding would go with it. Now, in this year's bill, they do include money for public school construction, but there's also a $2,000 one-time bonus for public school teachers. Some legislators, like Democratic Senator London Lamar, have called this bill a scam. Instead, she hopes that funds can go towards strengthening public schools. Now, as the legislative session kicks off tomorrow, we will be following this closely along with other bills that will be hitting both the Senate and House floors. Here in Smyrna, I'm Madeline Nolan, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Crisis in the Classroom is our commitment to exposing problems and finding solutions for issues in our schools. If you have a story you think we should cover, send us an email to news@fox17.com or call our tip line at 615-266-4149. Tennessee lawmakers expected to take up other important issues this session, like abortion rights and free school lunches. You can read all the bills up for discussion on our website, fox17.com.
New tonight, experts estimate the cost of home losses to the California wildfires now stand, check this out, folks, $30 billion, and of course, counting. Many homeowners are counting on a huge relief package that President Biden has promised, but as Fox 17 News' Christine Frizzau explains, with a large amount of money like that could be drastically reduced.
On providing aid to California in the wake of the deadly and devastating wildfires, President Biden said no expense should be spared to fight them, issuing a major disaster declaration as one of his final acts as president.
The federal government will cover 100% of the cost for 180 days.
But what happens after that is now in question. Republicans in Congress already insisting when it comes to federal aid to California, there will be strings attached.
But when it comes to congressional funding, the idea that we're going to have an open checkbook, no matter how bad your policies are, is crazy.
GOP lawmakers targeting environmental policies they say impact farming and agriculture in the state, as well as a $17 million cut to the Los Angeles Fire Department and a focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs.
And it's heartbreaking to hear the fire chief say that they've diverted all of this money away from the fire department to be used for social programs.
Politico reporting House Republicans may tie wildfire aid to raising the debt ceiling. The federal government set to reach its borrowing limit as soon as June.
Debt ceiling is not about raising a lot of money. It's really just about extending it.
The stage set even before Donald Trump won the election, with these comments he made in September criticizing California's water policies.
Gavin Newsom is going to sign those papers, and if he doesn't sign those papers, we won't give him money to put out all his fires.
California Governor Gavin Newsom repeatedly inviting the president-elect to visit the state and meet with residents impacted by the fires, also criticizing him for playing politics.
You know, people are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder, churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it.
Among all the other fights already being waged, state and local policies in California now capturing the spotlight here on Capitol Hill. I'm Christine Frizzau reporting.
Really wasn't too bad today, a bit on the chilly side, but that sunshine makes it feel much better, and that sunshine will be important for the week, getting rid of whatever left we have of the snow from last week's event. But as we look ahead, we've got a roller coaster ride as far as temperatures go. We are down, we're up, and we are down again. So over the next couple of days, tomorrow not too bad, 42 will be the high with sunshine expected. We get into Wednesday, we have a front coming through through tomorrow, which will knock temperatures back into the mid to lower 30s. We'll be lucky to get above freezing, I think, for Wednesday. Case in point, too, our average line is right here in yellow, so we really kind of are all over the place. Thursday up to 48, 54 on Friday, and looking to hang in those low 50s for Saturday, too. That's when we're going to find this rain to move in. Behind that, much colder air arrives. Much colder air arrives. In fact, it is looking like the coldest air of the season. I think 28 is actually pretty conservative. I think we need to drop that number. So it's high for now, but because it's a week out, I'm going to start around 28. If we need to whittle it down more, we will. But it's looking quite cold for Monday into Tuesday and even Wednesday with some very frigid morning lows as well. So we'll be looking at very cold conditions about a week from today. We take a look at tonight into tomorrow. You can see those temperatures are holding in the upper teens to low 20s. As we get into the afternoon hours, plenty of sunshine expected. So area wide, we should top off in those upper 30s to low 40s as we head through the afternoon hours into Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, again dropping back into those 20s, if not teens again for early Wednesday. I think Wednesday morning might end up being a little bit colder compared to what we'll see for tomorrow morning. We'll talk more about this Arctic blast on the way for early next week, coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Well, the Titans' former general manager speaking out what Ran Carthon said about his time with the team.
And arming cartels, the lesser-known concern surrounding the border crisis.
Less than 1 week after Ran Carthon was fired as the Titans general manager, he did something not a lot of former GMs do and hopped on the radio. Carthon opened up this morning on 104.5 The Zone about this past week and said he doesn't have any ill will towards the Titans organization. Now, he did not go into detail on why he was fired, but he did make it a point to stick up for head coach Brian Callahan.
It's one of those situations where I got love and respect for a lot of people, over there at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park, and that won't change. I really, truly believe in Callie and what he can do, right, as the coach, and I know he'll be, much better next year.
Carthon went on to say that at the end of the day, it comes down to wins and losses. He finished his 2 years with the team with an overall record of 9-25. As far as the search goes for his replacement, the Titans are reportedly moving on to the second round of interviews. Both NFL Network and ESPN have reported that the Titans are moving on to the next round after initially interviewing 10 candidates. They have narrowed it down to this list you see on your screen, with the most recent candidate at the top, that being Packers VP of Player Personnel, John Eric Sullivan. Second round of interviews are expected to be done all throughout this week. Well, after taking a year off from the head coach spotlight, former Titans coach Mike Vrabel has finally found his new home. And for those that know him and his history in the league, it's hard to imagine a better fit than the New England Patriots. New England officially holding its introductory press conference for Vrabel today. Vrabel played for the Patriots for 8 seasons as a linebacker and won 3 Super Bowls in that span. The Titans fired Vrabel this time last year, and instead of jumping right back into coaching, he opted to take a consultant position with the Cleveland Browns. Vrabel had interviewed for a couple other head coaching jobs last week, but it was clear which one he wanted.
I want to thank the teams that were, willing to meet with me through this process to give me an opportunity to potentially lead their team. But in the end, it was clear to me and to my family and my soul that this was the place that I wanted to be.
Won't be long until Vrabel is back on the Tennessee sidelines. The Patriots are scheduled to come to Nissan Stadium to face the Titans in 2025. Well, Patriots got their new coach, but now the Dallas Cowboys are in need of a new one as well. News broke today that Mike McCarthy will not be returning as the head coach of the Cowboys next season. Cowboys coming off a disappointing 7-10 finish to the year, and according to Jordan Schultz of Fox Sports, owner Jerry Jones has spoke to Colorado head coach Deion Sanders about the current vacancy, and conversations are expected to continue about that open position, something to keep an eye on. Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Coldest air of the season on the way next week. We'll time it out coming up.
and fueling murder, the less talked about side of the border crisis.
Illegal immigrants crossing our southern border is a major issue for many Americans. Much of the concern is about the flow of illegal drugs.
Well, tonight, Fox 17 News' Christine Frizzell shows us why there is growing concerns about guns going back and forth across the border in tonight's Spotlight on America report.
You're looking at one of the busiest ports of entry in the country. In Laredo, Texas, agents focus every day on preventing drugs like fentanyl or dangerous criminals from coming in. But we gotta look at one other crucial part of the job, stopping what's going out.
Some pretty serious firepower there.
Serious firepower like this, seized in Progreso, Texas in June. This batch in Eagle Pass in April, a growing collection of arms almost always headed to the same place. Directly into the hands of cartels in Mexico, says Donald Kusser, CBP's Director of Field Operations in Laredo.
Cartels and transnational criminal organizations need a couple things to stay in power, right? They need money and they need weapons.
The flood of weapons so prevalent, journalists and lawmakers alike have referred to it as the Iron River, which flows into a country with just a single gun store located on a military base, coming from a country with some of the most lax laws in the world, which makes it easy for Americans with clean records to be recruited to carry out the purchases, says Alejandro Amaro, Deputy Special Agent in charge for Homeland Security investigations.
If somebody in Mexico needs 15 AK-47s, they'll send out word to their contacts, they'll send money for them, and they'll hire people that have no criminal history, are able to make a purchase.
Those straw purchases, a key reason 500,000 American-made guns are trafficked to Mexico every year. Self-proclaimed cartel members posting videos like this online to show off their haul. Experts say to send a message to both rival gangs and police that they're armed and dangerous. Back in 2016, a police helicopter in southern Mexico was shot down with a .50 caliber Barrett gun. The company is headquartered in Tennessee. It's the same type of weapon members of the military used in Iraq and Afghanistan to hit targets more than 2 miles away. Since that time, nearly 124,000 guns have been recovered at crime scenes in Mexico, more than 83,000 of which came from the United States, often hidden inside vehicles.
So they'll put them in like quarter panels of cars, under seats, within the seats, in the engine compartment, things like that, in the spare tires.
Recovering as many as possible, aided with the use of canines, plus inspection technology or x-rays, essential to national security on both sides of the border.
They would be, if the cartels was able to arm themselves indiscriminately, they would be in further control not only of their city, but it would spill over to the United States.
For Spotlight on America, I'm Christine Frizzell.
All right, a lot of kids out of school, probably squeaking out their last snow day, getting back to normalcy tomorrow, and the weather also getting back to normal.
Yeah, for a
whatever
few days.
Is normal this time of year.
Whatever is normal now. That's right. A couple days we'll find at least dry weather, and the sunshine really is going to help play a role in melting whatever is left as far as snow goes, with temperatures in the 40s for tomorrow. That'll help even the shady areas melt off some of that snow too. Live look on Broadway, things business as usual downtown, and once again a cold night ahead with those temperatures dropping back into the upper teens as we head into tomorrow morning. Speaking of the bus stop for tomorrow morning here, temperature around 19 degrees at 7 o'clock. Sunshine the story all the way through the day, and we'll find temperatures to climb quickly here from 19 to 28 in just a couple hours time. So it will be warming up a little bit, even though 28 doesn't seem very warm. But let's talk about the coldest year of the season. Right now I'm looking at a week from today. So the 20th through the 23rd looks to be the range of days that we are looking at. Temperatures that could drop into single-digit territory. It's possible. As far as the overnight lows go, and wind chills could be as low as negative territory. So this has got our eye. It's paying attention to this closely here. This, again, will be Monday, and this is a big dip in our jet stream that's going to be pulling in this Arctic air for Monday, and it'll hang with us through Tuesday and likely Wednesday as well, bringing these temperatures into teens, if not single digits, as we head through the early morning hours of each day. So that's what we are watching, and as of right now, I would say 20s for afternoon highs, lows in low teens, but I mentioned that the potential for single-digit lows, it's out there, but won't go that far just yet. I think wind chills will definitely be in single-digit territory, and this is what we're looking at from a week from today. So we could see those wind chills easily in the 0 to 5 degree range. As we head towards Monday afternoon, it'll only feel like the teens most likely. We head into early Tuesday morning, and we're once again looking at single digits. As we head into Wednesday morning, we will be looking at even colder conditions here with negative territory as far as wind chills are concerned. So again, case in point, it does look quite cold as we head through next week. As always, a great reminder, scan the QR code here and this will take you to our weather app. It is free and a great tool to have when we have these cold spells, the snowy spells and everything in between. It follows you too if you travel, so we'll keep you up to date on the weather wherever you are. And again, I mentioned it is free, so this really is a great tool to have in your pocket wherever you are. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We're at 42 tomorrow, 34 Wednesday, 48 to 54 by the end of the week. So up and down and all around. Showers expected Saturday and maybe some light snow on the backside.
Thank you, Katie. Just ahead, it could be worse how Nashville property taxes compare to other American cities.
And if it sounds too good to be true, how to spot a fake job offer.
Partners at OpenTheBooks.com this week are comparing property taxes people pay in Nashville versus the rest of the state and nation. City records show the average Nashville homeowner pays $2,230 a year in property taxes. That's $265 more than in 2023. Property tax is how city leaders in Nashville fund essential services like police, the fire department, schools, and parks.
Davidson County continues to be the third highest average property tax in the state, following Williamson and Shelby counties. And so property owners in the other 92 counties, they could pay between $500 and $1,800. But the average person, you're looking at that $2,200 bill.
Now, Open the Books found Nashville property owners by about $400 more per year in property taxes than the national average. That said, and listen to this, less than the $10,000 a year people pay in New York and New Jersey.
Fox 17 already looking ahead to a weekend of sports action. Friday night, we've got men's college basketball for you. Indiana takes on Ohio State. Tip-off for that game starts at 7 p.m. Then Saturday, more men's college basketball. First, Creighton takes on UConn at 11. Then it's Xavier versus Marquette in the early afternoon game. Tip-off is at 1 p.m. Then Saturday night, the NFL playoffs right here on Fox 17. Don't miss the Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions in the NFC divisional matchup. That game's at 7. And then rounding out the weekend, we have a women's college basketball matchup. Iowa State battling it out against West Virginia. That game is at noon Sunday.
Just ahead, seekers beware how to spot a fake job offer.
Tracking the economy, a word of caution for people looking for work. You could be misled by an increasing number of fake help wanted posts.
They're out there. A new report actually found some jobs advertised online are positions that are never going to be filled. The report calls them ghost jobs and says that as many as 1 in 5 jobs posted online, so 20% may be faked or not filled.
Well, the report says that there are various reasons for these listings. They include suggesting company growth or holding out for that too good to pass up candidate.
High-profile confirmation hearings for President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet kick off this week. I'm Matt Gelka in Washington, and I'll have a preview coming up.
From wildfires to snowy weather, I'm Liz Bonus. Why those who manage our blood supply are asking you to find a drive and donate blood. More on the need just ahead.